For our first project in Adobe Flash, we're going to open up ActionScript 3.0, and we're going to draw a cartoon character. And if you go online, you can look up like Bugs Bunny sketches and or any of your favorite cartoon characters. Are very easy to find by just Googling images of different sketches or cartoon characters. And we're just going to pick one up and we're going to put it into Flash. So we're gonna import this file, import to the stage, and we're going to look for just a simple image to use to create an animation. Oh, I didn't want all the sequences. So sometimes you'll see it'll include all the sequences on the animations. So I'll just remove that frame. I was only looking for the first image, and if I click on this image, you'll see that it has a width of 883 and a height of 825. So basically what I want to do is I want to either adjust the size of this or just create a stage that has the same 883, 825 dimensions as the image. So that's my choice, and then I could center this where the X is 0 and the Y is 0, and that'll put it right up in the corner, so it's perfectly centered in this. And I could zoom in or zoom out to make it larger or smaller using this right here. So at 100%, that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a animation, and we have these different segments. And for simple animation, we can take these segments and we can put them into different layers. So we'll have a layer for the body, B-O-D-Y. I'll put image here. So we have a body, and then we insert a layer for the eyes, and a layer for the right arm, a layer for the left arm, a layer for the right leg, a layer for the left leg. So we got our arm, right arm, left arm, right leg, left leg. Alright, so we have all our layers in here. We'll just go ahead and lock this first layer, and that means we don't change anything. So this way, when we work with our image, we pick up any sketches. You could do this, you could create something totally original. You don't need a sketch, but this just makes it easier, I think, for you to kind of get familiar with what we're doing, because we can draw shapes directly over it. All right, so something that I can do with this oval tool, and I could create an oval that's incredibly similar to what I have there. And obviously I want to change the colors. So this is a tiger, so I would say a tiger would probably have some type of orangish color to it, right? Maybe not that orange. Let's fade it a little bit to that orange. That looks good. And the outline would probably be black. So we'll pick our ink tool, and we can make the stroke just a little bit. Let's put it on 2. We can just put a number in here. We don't have to drag that back and forth. Put that on 2, and then we can make that line thicker. So that has a nice look to what we have going on there. You can do these side by side. So you can look at this and then say, okay, I want to alter this bottom but keep the top and move it over the side. Or you can put it right over the top to see how well that fits, and then kind of adjust. So I can pull this out, push this in, pull it down a little bit. Pull this up. So there's all kinds of ways I could shape this. So that looks pretty good. You know, there's maybe the lines over a little bit here, but it doesn't have to be exact. And there's different things I could do with this. So I could copy this inside. Let's move this over to the side. And you'll see that now I have this orange shape in the middle. And something I could do is I can copy this and then paste it. And I could change the color from orange to a nice faded yellowish style. And I could take my transform tool and I could adjust the size. So I could just pull it and adjust the size in such a way that I can take this and put it over to the side like this. So I have this shape, and then I'm like, well, this kind of looks like it's a little bit farther down here, like that, right? I can pull it out just a little bit more, and this looks like it's over just a little bit more, like that. You know, this got filled over here, but that's easy enough. I can just pull this tool just like that, so now it's closed up again. All right, so this way I have a nice, and I could select the whole thing and pull it back over there. So you see I have an image sitting right there. So I can adjust it. So I can draw on the side so I can kind of see things, or I can do it together. Put it right over the top. So the next thing, maybe I'll do this nose here. So I'll get another oval tool. And I just noticed something. I wanted this in the body, but I accidentally put this in the eyes frame. So this is why you lock frame. So I can cut this, and then I could go into my body and then paste in place so it ends up right there. Now if I lock these frames, then only the frame that's open I'll be allowed to work in. You see this? I can't do anything in this frame. I can only work in the one. And this helps me make sure that if I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing, if all the other frame or other layers are locked except for the one I'm working in, then that means that I'll make fewer mistakes by placing things in the wrong layers and then forgetting where I placed them. So all this body part here, I'm going to put all this in the body frame. So if I lock all the other layers, then I know that everything I draw here will be in this layer. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this nose. So I'll take the oval tool again, and then this I'd like it to be black, and I really don't need an outline for this. So I'll kind of place this in such a way. Alright, and now if I want to check it, I move it over like this, and I say, oh, that's a really good fit. Alright, I don't need it to be right on top because I could use it to see other things. So the next thing I want is I'm going to want to do a little white circle here. So I pull my circle tool. Oops. I turned that white so it disappeared. So right now I turn that to white. And I pick my oval tool, and you'll see I have this. Here's an oval, and there's a circle. I want an oval, but I want it to be something like this, right? So I want that oval to be rounder, but I don't want it perfectly round. And it's hard for me to do. I could do all types of modifications, but the easiest way I can do this is I have the width and the height. And obviously I want my width to be smaller and my height to be larger. So I'll move my my height up to 20 and my width up to 25. And you'll see it's just a little bit larger than I wanted there. So I could move the height down some more. to 18 and move my width to 15. And this is maybe the height. So now I want my my width to be 22. Alright, so this is pretty close to what I'm looking for. Definitely looks like I have my width right, but my height, let's move it to 16. Alright, so that looks almost identical, right? Almost identical. So now I can move this up and place it, you know, right about where I think is perfect, which I think right there looks pretty good. So now I have a nose and I have the brunt of the body. Let's do some of these tiger stripes over here. So for that, I'll use the pencil tool, and what I'll do is I'll move this one down right about there, and then I'll move it across just about like that. And I'll do that here too. I'll have one that goes down at an angle. I don't want it to go that far, but that's okay. And then I'll have one that goes across, and then over here I have one that goes up at an angle and one that goes across. And then I'll take my selection tool and I'll say, okay, this one goes up a little bit, this one arches kind of like that, this one goes up a little bit, this one arches like that. I can pull this out a little bit, arch it in, maybe make this one a bigger arch, kind of like that. Maybe not so much, but that looks good. Then arch this one down a little bit, give this one a nice, that looks good. And then I'm going to fill it with that dark orange that I liked earlier. So move this to my paint bucket, and then boom, boom, boom. Now I have my tiger stripes there. So I have my nose, I have my tiger stripes. I've got most of the body done here. I can take this nose and I can move it around, and I could use the up and down arrows to move things. So now if I move the up arrow, it moves 1 pixel at a time or over. So for precision, I could move these back and forth in such a way that give me better results or more preciseness. So now I think I have something that looks similar there. Now, since these are lines, these will be easy for me to kind of draw. I could just use the line tool for this, and I could do paintbrush, or I could do a line tool. And oops, I want to get the curve there. Pull this down in such a way. Move the arrow tool up and over. So I'm like, oh, that kind of looks good, right? I can a little bit longer, but it still looks good. And then I have my my line tool. Let's do something there. And let's pull it up in such a way, pull this down in such a way, and then move the whole thing down with my, so that looks kind of like that. And then we have I have a line from here to there, and I pull that out, and then I'll have a line straight across here, and I'll pull that down, and then I have like a little tooth thing going on here. Now I could use another tool here. I could use the pencil tool, and I could say I want it like ink, or I could want it nice and smooth. So let's see what I can do with the smooth. And if I have the pencil tool, maybe I want to go to 200, or maybe I want to go to 400, and this gives me an ability to go like zoop. So I have that up there. It's a little bit more crooked, but let's see if I can do something here. Pull on it. Oh, look at that. It starts to adjust itself in such a way that looks just like that tooth. Now also when I zoom in, I could do something like this. I could also move that up a little bit so that fits a lot more perfect. And then something else here too is I could have these circles. Let's get rid of this line tool and let's change our color to black, and then let's make a little dot right there and make an even smaller dot right there. Make a little dot right here. Make a little dot right here. And make a little dot right there. Alright, so we can use the arrows to move that over the top. Use the arrows to move that over the top. Slide that over a little bit. Slide that down a little bit. Slide that way using the arrow tools. So these dots are almost precisely over those dots there. And then lastly, there's a little line right here. So we can take our line tool and we can start here and go just like that. All right, simple line. And then we could give it, doesn't have it, but we can give it just a little bit of character, something like that. And the last thing that I kind of see here is there's a 3D effect. It's kind of hard to see, but let's go back to 100. There's a little bit of a shadow here. So what happens is if I copy this and then I paste it in place and then use the arrow tool to move it upwards, and let's use our fill bucket. Let's fill that up so that's all the same now. And let's change it to a light shade of gray. Maybe that one. And let's move this over it. Just like that. Maybe just like that. So what this gives us a kind of a shadow effect, right? I can move that back down. So now what we have is we have a little bit of a shadow effect on our nose there, and I have all these pieces right here. So now if I move these, I use the select tool to select all this stuff, and I drag it over, and I place it in what seems like a really reasonable spot. Right there looks good. All right, so something I want to do is I want to extend this line up just like that to the nose, and I could even kind of move that one up a little bit. Oops, not that far. Oops. So let's edit, undo. Let's edit, undo, and we can leave it like that for now. So now what I have is I have a complete match in the body layer for the body. So I can take this and I'll drop it right there, and you'll see that looks real good. So the next thing I'll do is these eyes. So I'll lock up the body layer because I don't want to put anything else in there, and I'll pick the eyes layer, and real simple, I'll start with a couple. Alright, so you'll see I have this going on here. Change this to white. Use my fill bucket. Oops. And I want this to be wider, so I will come over here and I will change the width to 33. Oh, almost perfect. Let me move it over this way. This way. I'm going to change the height to 40. Oh, yeah, that looks nicer. All right, so there we go. So there's our one eyeball. Now I want to use this tool again to draw the other eyeball. Now this other eyeball you can see is almost perfectly round. So let's move this guy over to the side. Let's see, using the arrow tool. Yep, that's almost perfect. So let's move this guy over that guy. You see now we have our eyes. All right, move over here. We can make two little pupils. Once again, if you're going to make a tiny little circle, sometimes it's better to go to zoom in. All right, so black, and we'll get rid of this. Oops, I did that again. Edit, undo, edit, undo. All right, here we go. Black, undone. Now we got a little circle. So there's one. There's two. Get our select tool. Move this one down. Move this one up. And we can put it just like that. Move it down a little bit, so that looks about right. And now we have our eyes. All we have to do now, and this is also something that would be easier to do if we're just drawing lines that have things large like this. So I draw a line from here to there, and then I arch it right over it, just like that. I can even move this down a little bit. And then I draw a line upward, easy enough. And then I draw a line from here to there. Let's see what we can do here. Oops. Curve it out, pull it over, and then curve this part back in again. And we can curve this part out a little bit, and just a little bit more. And there, that's perfect. And then we do the same thing over here. Well, I'll show you. This is something you can do too. Is we can copy this whole object. All right, so we copy it, paste it in place, drag it over here, and now what we can do is under our modify, we have our transform. We flip it horizontally. And that's what happens. It flips horizontally. Then we go over here and we go, well, this is a little bit different. So how is it a little bit different? We move it up like this. And we go, well, this is over here. And this is over here. And this isn't out as much. And we move that out that way a little bit more. That looks good. So we have the two are kind of like this. And now what we want to do, go back to 100. We want to fill this, and I'll use this nice dark color here. So I come over here to my paintbrush, and I pick this color, so I have the same exact color. I get my paintbrush, and then and then I put those in there, and I highlight this. I move this over this way. And now my eyes are done. And I could take my eyes and I can move them anywhere I want. I could set them right down on the face like that. Let's get rid of this image. So you see this makes a nice face going on there. So we'll see this, and we could always move that back up for now, and then move it back later. All right, so we'll leave those there for now, and then we can move them wherever we want. We can move them all over the face. We can make his mouth move. Now we're going to do his arms, And so we'll lock the eyes, and we'll start with the right arm and highlight that. And let's zoom in to 200%. And we'll start with these lines. This line looks almost straight, so that makes it simple enough. Let's be right there. Alright, let's see what we have here. Then we'll do another line down this side. And I'm going to do a line to here, because this looks like it has like a little curve to it. So I'll put that in there. That looks good. And I'll move this over a little bit, just like that. And I can adjust this again, just a little bit there. And then this looks like a straight line. So now I'll do a straight line from here right to that point, just like that. So you can also get the eraser tool. So if I don't like this, which is fine, I can move this over. I can erase it. I think from here to there. So that looks perfect. And then I'll draw a line from here straight to there. All right. So this looks like a really good thing we have here. And obviously we have oops. We have no, that doesn't go straight across. Oh, because there's 2 points there. We can draw these lines. So I'll edit undo that. All right. So we'll have this, and we can adjust that there, and this here, this there, this there, this there, this here, and this here. All right. And then we have one here. Let's edit undo. And everything doesn't have to be exactly perfect, right? Let's put a little curve in there. Like we did up here with our tiger stripes. This up. And we're gonna get our paint bucket. We're gonna fill these with this color right here. All right, let's move down to this part. Now, like I was saying before, we have smooth. We can pick a pencil tool if we're just tracing this, and we can do something like that. And then we can pick our selection tool and say, well, this would be better if it was a little bit over that side, and this would be a little bit better if it was right there. And this could go in a little bit so that it's perfect. Then we can go back to the pencil tool here. We can do this one bit at a time. So that looks perfect just like that. We can do this curve all the way across. Then we can do this curve all the way across. Remember, I have it on this setting right here that it's smooth. Straight will give you right angles or sharp angles. You don't want that because this is all rounded. And then smooth will give you this nice curvy, and ink gives you exactly what you draw. So I don't want something that's all jagged. I want it nice and smooth. So I'll use that. I'll go around this way, curve just like this, and there I have that. So I can pull this out a little bit, and I can get rid of that piece, and I can smooth this out. But that looks really good. So that would be my, oops, that'll be my right arm, and then I can go back and I can do all the other arms in just the same manner, and then fill this in with the shading, this nice orange color that goes in right there. Now that we have this arm drawn, we can use our paint bucket tool. We can pick this nice color here, and we can fill in these areas. Now if you try to close up here, you'll see that you can't do that because this needs to be closed. So one trick that you can do is you can create a temporary line across from here to here, and then we can use our paint bucket to fill it, and then we can remove this line, and you'll see that way we have this arm finished. Now we just do the same technique to go for this arm and these two legs, and then we'll have our outline completed. Now let's go ahead and finish up the left arm and both legs. We can go ahead and just take this pencil tool now that we're a little more familiar with how to use it, and we can trace over the lines, stopping whenever you feel like you need to give your finger a break, so you have it in small segments. And as long as you have it smoothed out, you'll see that these little jagged edges will be taken away. We could have created circles for this too. So say I didn't like that. There's always a possibility that what I'm doing here isn't really what I'm looking at here, what I like, right? So I can pull things in and out to square them up. Right about there. So you see that fixes that pretty good. And then these kind of look like three different circles. So I mean, basically, I could just get the oval tool and get rid of the fill, and create some ovals. See how that fits right there? Then draw another oval for the second one. Give this a little bit of a roll to it. So it's like that. And then place that one right there. Then you can cut that out, and you can pull that in a little bit, such a way. I have another circle right here. Looks okay. Oops, I want to do that. So you can always play with these lines as much as you want, and you can see how easy they start to get to form them. Put this up there where it should be. Sometimes things get a little bit. Get rid of that. And then if you just want to, you can use the eraser tool to just do something like that. And then this is a good spot for a line tool. And just pull that one out. So we have a variety of ways to accomplish our drawing right here. To shape it in ways that we feel fit good. Cut. And then we can draw in our tiger stripes like we did before, right? We just do. It's easy enough just to do the stripes across such a way. Remember, they don't have to be exact. We'll shape them out later. If you don't see if you're not getting the effect that you like, then you could always just switch up what it is you're doing. All right, I can do pencils here, and then pull that out if I feel like the line tool is snapping in a manner that I don't care too much for. Fill these all in. You could always just trace it with a pencil tool like we were doing before to get the desired effect that we want. And then oops, edit, undo. Give that a little curve, give it a little curve, little curve, little curve, little curve there. Pull this one out this way. You could always zoom in too. We'll zoom in a little bit here, and this way we can fix things if it seems like for some reason we're having trouble getting the desired effects we want. We could get rid of some of these. Go the other way. Fix these little errors that we see. We could delete a line altogether, draw a new one. And we could use our line tool now. We have a point here, like that. Alright, looks good. Let's zoom out a little bit. And some stuff to connect. Got some stuff we can fix a little bit. Double click on this. Alright, everything looks like it's connected okay. Let's get our paint bucket here. Make sure we get the right color. Alright. Got a couple of places where there's some open lines. So let's see what it is we have here. We have an open line right there. Let's get our paintbrush. Let's pick the darker color here. Let's fill in. Let's see what we got to fill in here. That's open. That's all set. Alright, so those all work good. Alright, so we need to just fix up a couple things. So what we'll do here is we'll go to 800. And when we go to 800 and pick our select tool, we can say, well, maybe this can be fixed up right there. That looks like it's all joined together. Alright, that looks like it's joined together now. Put it back. Get rid of this. Oh, here we go. This is one reason why it wouldn't. So now if we have our fill color here. Alright, so now that works. These are some of the errors that you may or may not have. So we have a problem right here probably. Let's pull our select tool. Let's pull this across. Let's pull this across. Let's pull this across. That's all capped in there. So I would think that if we pull the paint bucket now, right, that works fine. And if we select this color, and right, so we have a problem in here. So we'll clean this up. Cut. Cut. Alright, that's joined. That's joined. Let's go dark color. Right, that works. And put this. And that works there. And I can also see here, this is just a minor detail, but you can curve that out, make it look more rounded. Curve this out more, so you can make these shapes. Oh, that looks good like that. As we go up, you can pull this out a little bit. Oops, fix that up. And then this is a problem here, so we fix that. Get rid of this. Get our darker color. Fill in our paint bucket there. Clean this up. Let's fill this in. And last part, we'll need to extend this line up a little bit. And we'll draw a line across to close it in. And get our paint bucket. And then get rid of this line. So now we have our second arm drawn. So we have the two arms. Now this, let's look at this line. Now this is 2, and if I look over at this line, this is only 1. So let's highlight all that and change it to 2, just like our original one was. So now this is just as thick as that one. All right, we have everything put in there, and you know, we could always add our stripes to the knuckles just like we did on this one over to that one. No big deal. Let's take a look at our legs now. So we'll do the same thing with our legs. We'll start with our pencil tool and then decide how well we like it or not. Draw this. That looks good. Draw this. Around like that. That looks good. Draw this. And yeah, I did notice that I didn't switch these into the right leg and left leg layers, but we can always copy these or cut them and paste them into those layers once we have them drawn, just so long as we remember that we did that. Draw that. Draw that. 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 Draw it across that way. All right, let's take a look at this now. Let's zoom in. So there's things I want to change already. So let's not that it makes that much difference, but let's move that in a little bit. Move that out a little bit. Let's pull this out a little bit here. Looks good. Zoom down a little bit. Let's pull this out a little bit. Pull this corner in like that. We can just get rid of it all together. All right. Pull that out like that. Pull this out just a little bit. Pull this up a little bit. Like that. Pull this out a little bit. Like that. Pull this in. And let's pull that down. Pull this in. Pull that down a little bit. Get rid of this. That. Pull this up. Pull that up. That looks good. Pull that out to round it off a little bit. Make this a little bit. There we go. Pull this in a little bit. Not that that needs to happen, but just to match it up a bit. We can pull this up a little bit here too. There. So that matches it a lot better. We got this problem with the heel here. Let's see what we can do. Boom. Pull it out. Straighten that up a bit. There we go. All right, so now we just have a couple of things to draw here. Get the drawing pencil. And let's see, right there. And then one more curve right there. And then we can do our stripes. Alright, that one's messed up. Keep pulling these stripes out. There's one there. Right, try to make nice solid strokes all at once. And there's no reason to be afraid. Let's say edit, undo, edit, undo. Let's see, we'll use our pencil tool here. So the pencil tool sometimes is a lot better. It's giving you a nice vector image where it's drawing a line between 2 points. Cut. Cut. Let's put our line. Start here and there. Pull it out. Pull this in. Alright, it gives us a lot better curve than if we use the pencil tool. Okay, line tool works really good. Pencil tool gives us these crazy curves where we have some uneven strokes. So using the line tool definitely allows you to give nice solid curves to it. You don't have all this scribbling going on. So there's definitely advantages to using the line tool over the pencil tool. Let's go up the leg. It locks real nice. You don't have those open gaps like you do with the pencil tool. Using the line tool allows you to lock onto pre-made lines. So when you're doing your paint bucket fill, it gives you a closed area that allows the paint bucket to fill inside. It's a nice solid arch there. That's just a little bit of an arch. Arch this in. There. Add these arches. That's okay. So everything doesn't have to be exact. We'll close this in to start with now, so that we'll be able to use our fill paint bucket. Stripe, stripe, stripe. All right, and give it some curves. Everything appears to be in order, so we should be able to simply fill these in. So here, 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 here. Fill in all these. Oops. See, that one wasn't closed. This one's not closed. This one is. That one's not. So there's a difference when we use these. I think we're at 200. And we'll change our color scheme here. This one. Alright, so we have open areas over here. and we have these two need to be fixed, and this toe is still open over here, so we'll have to fix that. So zoom back in. These are common errors. So right here we can see that needs to be attached to the side. So and then let's see if we can use our paint bucket now. All right, so that works there. This one still doesn't. So let's actually do this. Let's get the one line, cut. Let's add a new line here. From here to there, it locks in. Pull this arch and pick a color. Get our paint bucket. Nope. All right. Get rid of that. All right. Let's see if this works this time. Pick a color. Get our paint bucket. There. Good. So now we have that one done. So let's see where we have our errors in here. Probably right there is an error. So let's see. And right here is probably an error. This one's not locked. This one's not locked. Let's get our paint bucket. There it is. Let's fill this. Nope. All of this is still open, probably right there too. Edit, undo. Let's change this to lines. Cut. Cut. So here we go. Put this here. That's all locked in. Cut. Cut. Grab a couple lines here. This goes here. This goes here. We take our select tool, throw in some curves. Pull this down a little bit. Get our fill bucket. That fills. And that one still has an error right there. Alright, so edit, undo. Pull the select tool. Get rid of this. Cut. Alright, now it'll work. So there's a lot of times there's things you can't even see that leave open gaps. But something I do know now is we can pick this color and we can fill that in right there. Now our toe here is still has an opening in it. There's only two parts, so right here is probably what our problem is, since the other one's way up there. And that one's obviously closed. So let's make sure that's alright. So that should be okay now. Curve this out a little bit more. There, it looks good. Oh, there's something there. So let's see. Alright, there you go. So there we go. So let me move this to 100. And we want to get rid of this one here. Cut. Get rid of this one here. Cut. I want to get rid of just the line. Cut. Let me select. There we go. So we have cut, and then go to our right leg right here, and paste. And then we can move this up, and we will have our tiger completed.